Hi, welcome to Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell, and I love Jurassic Park. I have read both of Michael Crichton's novels, I've watched the original movie, I really can't count how many times I've rewatched that movie. I even have the Jeff Goldblum shower curtain. Life finds a way indeed. It is a fantastic story that has been adapted into a great movie. I really would recommend reading the original book. But if there's one thing that I am not in love with, it's the Jurassic Park sequels. Movies that followed it just really have not been able to capture any of the original magic of the original film. But the audience keeps paying and Universal keeps trying. And after going through not one, but 2 trilogies, we are now on what, like film 7? Jesus. We're at Jurassic World Rebirth. What's being reborn? I don't know. But despite that, I feel that this film, unlike maybe the last 2 Jurassic World movies, this one, it was a lot of fun. But no matter how much fun I was having, I just couldn't shake the feeling I was watching a greatest hits compilation. This film was just a giant compilation of things that have made the franchise great and, not even just from the Jurassic Park movies, but Spielberg's other movies like Jaws and Indiana Jones. There were sprinklings of everything in here. Which in a way, it does make sense considering that this film, it does see the return of David Koepp, who wrote not just the original Jurassic Park and The Lost World, but he even wrote Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Main framework of the story is going back to the island on an expedition of sorts, Lost World. You have a family that's tossed in there and it's a family survival story, first Jurassic Park. But oh no, there's a mutated dinosaur that's on the loose and blah 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 blah. The Jurassic World trilogy. Yes, this film, it is a lot of fun, but we've seen all of these elements before. Nothing really is new. Just to show how much of a retread it is, they swapped out Marvel actors. There really is not that much new. I just couldn't help but shake the feeling of been there, done that. We're just putting on a different skin and it's like, oh yeah, this is new enough. But to kind of jump away from the greatest compilation hit complaint, I think my biggest gripe, there are just way too many characters for this type of story. And there's just so many that I feel like you can't get that much of a connection to the characters. At least not like with the original Jurassic Park. You have this team of mercenaries, and then you have this family. They gotta reconnect as well. I feel like this film, it was on the verge of something, weirdly enough. There was too many things involved. With how derivative this idea seems, I think they should have focused on the family. They almost get in a near-death experience and then, oh no, we got rescued, but we got rescued by these mercenaries. A lot of it could play out the same, but the effort now is we survived, but at what cost? Because now we gotta survive again. It was kind of hard to connect with a lot of these characters because they are just so samey from films of the franchise past. My favorite character of the whole film, it's Jonathan Bailey. And the reason for that is because he plays a nerd that's passionate about dinosaurs. And these movies, they thrive off of nerds. That's what made the original Jurassic Park work with Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm. They're both nerds, they love what they're doing, and they got a spunk and a personality. I like that. And that's what makes these movies thrive other than the dinosaur action. And in a weird way, I think this film tried connecting it to the first one by having Jonathan Bailey's character be, the turkey kid from the first one. You know who I'm talking about. That looks like a 6-foot tall turkey. That kid. Now look, I'm not the only weirdo that thinks this. There's at least some articles out there and Reddit forums that I've seen that have tried to connect Jonathan Bailey to this kid. I mean, the timeline checks out, so do something with that. But then again, the internet also tried to tie this kid to Chris Pratt, so I mean, what do we know? Even though most of the cast was serviceable, the biggest surprise to me was just seeing Scarlett Johansson. I think that she was kind of phoning it in a little bit. This was just a Black Widow performance, but whenever you've seen her play the role in the MCU for almost a decade, you just know when the performance is genuine versus not. They also try to set up this kind of romance between like Jonathan Bailey and her, and they look like they get along fine in the movie. I don't think they just had that type of chemistry. And I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy myself, but it's becoming very apparent that this franchise, it's really just ran its course and that it's time to be put to rest here. When it came to the revamp of the Jurassic Park franchise with Jurassic World, they had an interesting direction with it. Corporate greed is one, and the theme park's open now. It's a great commentary that I think even works with the spirit of the original novel. Reopening the park once more, and it leading throughout that trilogy to the eventual takeover of dinosaurs all across the world. Nothing is holding them back. I thought that was a great concept. It would change our society forever, and then they did nothing with it. But I don't want to get too sidetracked on what never was. You know that Universal wants to make another trilogy out of this. These movies make money. Unlike the last three, I don't see how this film sets really anything up to continue from there. The only character that's likable is Jonathan Bailey, but even then, he's not a leading man. Beyond that, you don't really have any characters to really root for or follow, or threads that could last 2 other movies in a trilogy. This movie is just a one and done, plain and simple. We've had the original cast in a movie. We did everything to nostalgia bait people. All the nostalgia has been used with Jurassic Park. Where do you go? We know Universal is gonna like milk this property until it's dry, and then eventually do this all again in like 10 to 15 years time. But if you're gonna like milk this franchise dry, I think you gotta go back to the basics. Make it a mini-series that's closer in tone to the original Michael Crichton novel. Make it the modern Prometheus that it is. Or I guess the modern Prometheus. Find like an audio recording of some of these chapters like on YouTube. It is like the most metal, hardcore, and terrifying stuff that you can read in a book. Again, this movie is a lot of fun. It's better than a lot of the other sequels, which isn't really saying much, but if you want to check it out, I'm not going to guilt you. Just know you're getting the reheated leftovers that, you know, you've been eating for the last couple decades. It gets a decent, like, 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Any help that you can give to this channel, I would greatly appreciate. And if you're already subscribed to me, thank you so much for the support. That's all the time we have for today here on Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell, and if you excuse me, I'm gonna add to the stash. Alright, I better start editing now.